Boxing truth here. Let's talk about Gennady Golovkin's next fight, which is a showcase bout, a considered safe fight, but Golovkin's selection of his next opponent, which is Vanes Martirosyan, gives me a lot of confidence that Golovkin's team are still interested in the Canelo rematch. It gives me confidence that they still want that fight, that they're not going to put a big payday at risk, which is why they chose Martirosyan. And I actually agree with Tom Loffer. I believe Martirosyan is more marketable than Ggg Ko, since Martirosyan's from the LA region. He has more experience at the top level in terms of exposure. He's been on HBO, he's been on Showtime, and he speaks English. And according to Loeffler, it looks like they're gonna break the StubHub record. So there's a hot demand for Gennady Golovkin tickets. Golovkin is still a draw in the LA region, and this further proves that even though the selection of opponent is a little weak sauce in terms of competition, it goes to show that Loeffler was right in saying Martirosyan was a pretty good replacement opponent considering the situation. But what's intriguing to me about this fight, and it's not the competition. I mean, the fight is not that great. Martirosyan's a super welterweight, hasn't fought in 2 years. He's fought, solid competition. People say he might have beaten Jermell Charlo. I thought he beat Lara in his last fight, which was about 2 years ago. So, unofficially, he's really a world champion at 54. But he's been inactive. He's been looking for a fight. He's been training. He's not a middleweight. So there's a lot not to like about this fight. The change in weight class, moving up in weight, coming off 2 years of inactivity, fighting Golovkin on 3 weeks notice. It's not the most anticipated fight in the world. But what's intriguing to me about this fight is, can Gennady Golovkin knock out Vanes Martirosyan? Can he deliver a big time performance at this stage of his career? This is the perfect opportunity for Golovkin to show the boxing fans around the world that he's not past his prime, that he's not over the hill. Because in my eyes, he's really an imposter. Didn't beat Canelo in my eyes, and he's unofficially not the middleweight champion of the world, just on paper. And we're gonna see in this fight where Golovkin is at in terms of his level, the level of his ability, where he's at. Is he still a top pound for pound fighter? Is he truly the middleweight champion of the world? Because if he is truly the middleweight champion of the world, he should dominate, stop, and knock out Vanes Martirosyan. However, Martirosyan's never been stopped. He's a tough guy, tough little fighter, confident, says he's going to shock the world May 5th. Whether that's true or whether that's just bravado, that remains to be seen. It's not like Martirosyan's going to get in a rich, fat payday for this fight. He's not. It's a great opportunity, a chance to fight for a bunch of titles, but he's getting shortchanged when it comes to the actual purse. HBO only put up a $1 million license fee for this fight, which Golovkin's team is taking 90% of the share. So Martirosyan's fighting Golovkin in a voluntary defense for about maybe $200K tops on regular HBO. Since HBO was caught off guard, they didn't expect to dish out a license fee for this fight, since the fight got pushed off pay-per-view with the suspension of Canelo Alvarez, which was bullshit. I mean, it was pointless to suspend Canelo Alvarez. They gave Canelo a slap on the wrist. It was a waste of time. All they could have just did was have the fight go ahead May 5th. Now instead, the middleweight division's on hold. Jermell Charlo has to wait further for his shot. Billy Joe Saunders is going to have to wait further for unification. And Murata, all these cats. The IBF mandatory, perhaps, if the IBF grants Golovkin's exemption that they're going to request for this fight to keep all the belts intact for the Canelo rematch. But you never know. Maybe Golovkin changes the script. Maybe he doesn't want anything to do with Canelo Alvarez in the future. But that would be rather shocking, since that still represents his biggest payday out there. And judging from the actions of Golovkin these past few weeks, he's a mercenary, just like Mayweather, just like Manny Pacquiao, just like every other prize fighter. They're a prize fighter at the end of the day, and they want to fight for the biggest prize. So I expect Golovkin's team, if everything goes well May 5th, which he's heavily favored to do, that they will pursue the Canelo rematch. It'd be a damn shame if Golovkin ducks the rematch or doesn't want anything more to do with Canelo Alvarez when there's still unfinished business there. Still needs to prove that he's a true middleweight champion. But we're going to see what level Golovkin's at in this fight against Martirosyan. I'm intrigued to see if he can stop him, still have a dominant performance, because it's been a while. I mean, his past 3 fights, he's been vulnerable. He's been sloppy defensively. He's only recorded 1 knockdown officially in his past 3 fights, and on paper it's the 3 best opponents in terms of ability in his whole career that he's ever fought. And throughout his whole career, he's been advertised as this monster, and yet he couldn't knock out a Danny Jacobs. Only stopped Kell Brook on his feet. So how much of a devastating monster is he? Didn't show much great punching power in the Canelo Alvarez fight either. So is Golovkin slipping? Is he not as good as advertised? It's all a combination of things. He's not the true middleweight champion of the world. And I'm really not expecting a lights out performance in this fight, since in my eyes he's coming off a loss. And that's going to represent the ability he's truly at in the boxing world at this stage of Gennady Golovkin's career. I expect him to win the fight, but I wouldn't be surprised if Golovkin looks flat, if he looks unspectacular, and just pretty much grinds out a 12-round decision behind his jab. But nothing devastating, nothing lights out. This could really hurt Golovkin's marketability going forward. This could hurt his actual chances and people thinking if he will win the Canelo rematch, because Canelo is in the prime of his career. Got some bullshit delay of 6 months. Wasted time, bullshit punishment, just to save face. They should have just allowed the fight to happen. But now the middleweight division's on hold, and we gotta wait an extra 4 months for this rematch to happen. Instead, they could have allowed the rematch to take place May 5th, and then there wouldn't be any other unfinished business to attend to. We could have seen different fights. We could have seen a Canelo Alvarez Danny Jacobs fight. We could have seen a Canelo Alvarez Jamal Charlo fight. I would love to see those fights. We could have seen some different matchups. Instead, we're gonna get a Golovkin showcase at the StubHub Center May 5 against Vanes Martirosyan. A super welterweight. Golovkin gunning for super welterweights once again. Super welterweight killer. But is he still a killer? Can he KO Vanes Martirosyan, a guy who's never been knocked out? That's the only intriguing thing about this fight, is whether Golovkin can look spectacular, whether he can get back to his old devastating self. A lot of carnage in the ring. We haven't seen that in quite some time. But I expect Golovkin to win. But I wouldn't be shocked if he looks downright trash in this fight, which will further prove that he didn't beat Canelo Alvarez last September. But y'all let me know what y'all think about the situation, this fight. Ggg versus Vanes Martirosyan. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.